Good evening! Welcome to another fabulous edition of Club 20 Confidential. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Amanda Sue Punchfuk. And tonight I am joined by the absolutely incredible, the undeniably iconic, and Columbus's latest, newest resident. Please welcome Dena Cass!
Welcome.
The Club 20 Confidential.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome!
Thank you.
So just to
Glad to be here.
Yeah, just to give our viewers a little bit of reality check. So, Dena, would you like to describe the weather in Ohio right now?
It is cold.
It's very cold. It's
Very cold.
I know.
It's only like 19, but I think with the wind chill it's like 0 or
Yeah, it's like
something.
4 degrees. It's really
Zero.
cold. So all of the individuals who you're in the background, our incredible audience tonight here at Club 20, where we are live recording. So, Dena, I want to thank you so much for joining, and I just want to get down to the brass tacks of it. Tell us where you're from, where you grew up, a little bit about life before Dena Cass.
I grew up in a small town, very small town, Beardstown, Illinois, which is like
Say Beardstown?
Beardstown.
Oh, that is so
It
fierce.
is the watermelon capital of the world.
What?
It is.
Okay.
They grow watermelons.
We decided to wear green to
That's
honor that.
South?
And
I love that.
it's in Illinois. It's like central Illinois, western Illinois, I guess. So I grew up there, very small town. I did musical theater, sang, danced, and that's what I wanted to be when I grew up.
So yeah, I'm so fascinated. You were telling me upstairs. So you're doing musical theater. What is the first role you have that you remember having?
That I remember, I was the king in Cinderella,
What?
my first role. And then I was Allie Hatham in Oklahoma.
Oh my god! I love how you're just doing all the classics.
Yeah, we did. Well, in high school. We did.
Oh, okay. So when you are doing this theater in high school and stuff, you decide you want to be an actor. You want to go out
An
and
actor,
an
yeah.
actor and performer.
Yeah.
So then, let's move into how Dena is born. When did you first start going to gay bars and realizing that there was this thing called drag out there in the world?
So I knew I was different, but I didn't know there were any gay people because like I said, we were small. It was a small town. Yeah, very small. Very white, very, farmer. And so I went and auditioned for a musical, and I didn't even know what the musical was about. And they were going around the room asking everybody their name and what they wanted to what part they were there. I didn't even know the parts. I was just there to sing and try to get a part. It was in Springfield. I had drove over, and there was a woman sitting next to me. She said her name. She said, and I'm here for the lead. And so I was next, and I said, well, my name. And I said, and of course I'm here for the lead too. And they laughed. The lead was a woman.
Oh.
And they cast me in drag.
Oh!
So I didn't know what it was. It was A Day in Hollywood, A Night in Ukraine, and it's a musical about musicals.
Okay.
A spoof. So I was like, it was like Marx Brothers-ish, and I was Mrs. Pavlenko. So I went in, they put me in drag every night, put me in a sequin dress, and we did the musical. For 4 weeks, I did it 5 nights a week for 4 weeks. Well, it went over so well, they held it over for 2 more weeks. So for 6 weeks, I was in drag. During that time, I met tons of gay people. Of course, it was the theater. They said, we're going to take you to the bar. We're going to take you to the bar. What bar? And I wasn't even old enough to get in. They took me in drag to the bar, and that's where I saw drag queens. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding? And they put me in a little contest. I got second runner-up, so I got a booking. Didn't know what a booking was.
Do you remember the name of the bar?
It was New Dimensions.
New Dimensions in Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
And now, is it still there?
No, been long gone. Long gone. That was 40 years ago.
So you won your first booking, but just going out and just being
I
seen?
didn't know what it was, yeah. I didn't know what it was.
Okay,
So then I was like, okay, I didn't have drag. I had like what we had at the theater.
Yeah.
So then I auditioned for another play like 2 weeks later, and I got it, and I was Sweet Pea Meadowbrook. So then I was like typecast, because I guess they knew I did so then I did another play in drag, and then they had a Vanna White lookalike contest. So they all wanted me to, so we got all the stuff from the theater, and we went to the Vanna, and there were literally like 75 people. It was $1,000 to the winner, which was a lot back then.
Oh my gosh,
And
yeah, that's a lot now.
And I won. So when I won, I ended up having to go back and do the, long story short, my dad found out because I was in the newspaper. My picture was in the newspaper. So he threw me out. I had nowhere to live, so I lived in my car for 6 weeks.
I'm gonna say that Vanna White ruined your life. That is wild.
The Vanna White contest is what did it.
That's weird.
And I had one of those, you know, those Lincoln Continentals. You're not that old, but they used to have Lincoln Continentals that literally were like boats.
Yes.
I had the Lincoln
Submarine.
Continental town car. It was like a full bed in the back seat. So I slept back there. I had my little, and I didn't have a job at the time, so I was just like, didn't know what to do. I crawled in McDonald's garbage cans at the end of the night, and they throw all the food that's left over away there. And if you take the burgers and put them up on your car and turn the heat on real high, it'll warm the burger up, and they're good. That's what I had seen.
The Lincoln is also an easy make oven, apparently. I had no idea.
So I say all the time, I've ate in a penthouse and I've ate out of a garbage can.
Girl.
Done it all.
You've done it all for the art. So,
Done it all.
you know, obviously you get thrown out, you're living this situation. What's the next step for you? How do you then how do you start acquiring drag and becoming this superstar entertainer that we see today?
I met this guy, and he had a boyfriend. They were at the bar, and they asked me, well, I told them my situation and stuff, and they're like, well, come stay with us. So I went and crashed on their couch. I ended up moving in with them. I ended up getting a little job at a nursing home, and then I just started doing, at that time there were open stages, and you had to do pageants to get booked. There was none of this. There was no TV, you had to do a pageant or you weren't working. So I started doing all these pageants. We would drive 4 hours to do open stage. A bunch of us would pile in the car, 6 of us, and we'd go. And then we'd just go enter pageants. There'd be 4 or 5 of us, we'd load in the car, and we'd all do it. I'll do your hair, you zip me up, and we all just did the pageant. And if one of us won, we were happy. And you know, if none of us won, we went to the IHOP and ate and went home. But we did it.
So that brings me to this incredible resource that we have here that it's locally in Ohio. The person who runs this is Nick, and it's called Our Community Roots, and it's a website that has like the detailed history of like that. So I looked at
from here?
Yeah, the guy who runs that is from here. His name is Nick. He's incredible. I looked up your thing, and the first title it has you listed as winning is Miss Gay Illinois USA at Large in 1992. Does that feel correct?
Yeah, but I did it like 3 years before. I was first runner-up for like 3 years.
Okay, do you remember any of any of those girls who you were first runner-up? Are they any drag names that we recognize?
Blanche Dubois, I don't know.
Oh, really?
I was her first runner-up. Patrina Marie was her first runner-up. Shayla Simpson, I think I was her first runner-up. So I was first runner-up 3 years.
So back in 1992, what is the prize package like for winning Miss Gay USA or Illinois?
Oh, it was the same as it is now, girl. It ain't went up a dime.
Oh, really? So you're talking like $100 and
It's like $300,
okay.
You know, and then but they would help you at nationals to get there and get your hotel, and you actually made more money back then than you do now.
So what was it like your first time going to a national pageant?
I didn't know what it was. I just knew that was first runner-up, so I went then I went and did another prelim. I was first runner-up to Miss Indiana.
Okay.
Blake Adams. So I went to the national. I didn't know nothing about it. There were 38 girls. And I was just having fun watching the other girls. And I saw Chelsea Pearl. And I was infuriated because they had let women enter the pageant.
Yes.
Because I'd never seen like a trans. I didn't know what that was. And she was like a woman. And I was like,
Chelsea,
I was steaming. So I met her and I went to her room and she like explained everything and told me, you know, how she got like that and, you know, on and on. Well, I did the contest and I ended up being third runner-up. And I didn't know what I was. There were 38 contestants.
That's 38 contestants.
38 contestants. I got third runner-up because I was talented. I could dance, you know, and a lot of big girls didn't.
Was that your talent? Did you do a dance number?
I danced. Yeah, I took a bunch of dancers, just a bunch of gays. We're home. We all piled up and we learned this number out in the yard. But I didn't know what, I had borrowed this velvet gown. It was like a two-piece, horrible. My makeup was like in a little tackle box, and I didn't have like brushes. I just used like, you know, those little applicators.
Little Q-tips.
I used little applicators and just put lipstick on. I mean, I looked probably like John Candy.
Oh my God!
I mean, I was hideous.
Not John Candy.
I looked a fool. And I wasn't embarrassed because I didn't know no better. I was like, bitch, I did good. So then they told me, oh, there's this other pageant called Continental Plus. You should go do it. So I said, okay, all right. So I did a prelim to that. That was in 91. And I went to do Continental Plus. And I was second runner up there. Denise Russell won.
Baby, that is a name.
And I was second.
That's a great, oh my God.
God, I'm trying to think of it. Gayla DeLuss was first runner up, and I got second runner up. And on the way home, and I wore like a thong swimsuit. I didn't know no pantyhose, girl. I had on snow
What did
boots.
Denise wear?
She just wore a black swimsuit.
Just the
She had like a beaded fringe gown.
work.
For
Sang.
gown, and she sang, you know,
Yeah.
her talent. She's so talented.
Oh, she's the one.
And she won, and I was second one. But I was like, on the way home, I said, bitch, I don't even know what I'm doing. If I figure this shit out, these hoes have had it.
It's over.
It's over. So then I decided I wasn't going to go back to Continental Plus. I just wanted to be Miss USA at large. That's really all I wanted to be. So I did it 7 years.
Yeah.
And I was third runner-up, and second runner-up, and first runner-up, and third runner-up, and never won. So then I decided, well, bitch, I'll just go enter every state, and I'll have every state I want to be. So I did Miss Tennessee and Miss Indiana, and then I was going to go do Miss Texas, and I was like, I'll just do them all, bitch. I'll do every state.
And she did, by the way. They're listed
So
here.
then I would go, you know, you had to win a prelim. So I would go win a prelim, and then I'd go to nationals, and I would be in the top 5, but I never won. So then I said, well, I'm never going to win. And I lived in Iowa, and these boys wanted me to go. I went to Continental Plus, 3 prelims that year, and I got first runner-up at all of them. And that was the time when first runner-ups couldn't go. You had to win a prelim to go. Yeah, the Continental. Now they just, if you got a wig, they let you go. But back then, you had to win the prelim. You couldn't, even first runner-ups didn't go. So these boys bought Miss Iowa Continental Plus, and they're like, oh, we want you. And I had already been Miss Iowa USA and Miss Iowa USA at large. And we used to have Miss Iowa official. I'd won everything Miss Iowa. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I did it and went, and I won.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, you did. You won Miss Continental Plus. Yeah, 1998.
So I won that before I won USA at large. So then I was like, shit. So I stepped down, and I literally stepped down in the end of April, and then 3 months later, I went and won Miss USA at large. I stepped down from Continental Plus, did my prelim a week later, won Miss Illinois, USA at large, and then I won Miss USA at large.
And that was pretty unheard of. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, so it was back to back.
That's wild.
So then when I stepped down from Miss USA, then I was done with pageants. I was never doing another pageant.
Oh, the lie detector test determined that was not
But
the case.
if you notice, there's like a 10-year break.
There is this long break.
Because I was never doing another pageant.
She was not doing it. So during those 10 years when you're not doing pageantry, what are you doing? What's the working scene like? Where are you at? Because you've done drag in how many different states that you've lived in?
Oh my God.
Yeah, like you've had a couple different residencies.
Yeah, I've moved all over the nation, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So during those 10 years, where are you at? What are you doing?
I did drag. I've done drag almost pretty much every weekend for 40 years.
That's incredible.
In 40 years, I've had one New Year's Eve off.
Oh, girl.
In 40 years.
Girl.
Yeah.
So where are you at though in your career at that time? Were you in Iowa?
I was like in Iowa, different areas in Iowa. They would like hire me to come and be show director and you know do the shows, and I would work really full time, 4 or 5 nights a week. It was on like Donkey Kong.
So now this actually cues up our first little video that I'm going to show, and we can show it we don't have to have the video with full volume, but you weren't just doing like pageantry and just doing these gigs, you were also doing TV and stuff at this time.
I was doing
because I want to talk to you about this very controversial Ricky Lake episode. Let's talk about that. The title of this episode, by the way, it's called "Too Fat to Be a Drag Queen." Wild.
Hey, I'm Ricky Lake. Are these drag queens really too fat to do all that?
There you are. You are right there. Sashay Shantae down that runway. What is the experience like to be on Ricky Lake?
That was actually before I won anything. I won pageants, but that was before. Yeah, that was before national.
Okay.
That was before. That was probably 90, maybe 90.
Okay.
91 maybe. That was during
Isn't it insane?
During.
So what was that experience like being one of the first drag queens to go and do an experience like that? Because that was pretty trailblazing.
It was fabulous hair. It was pretty much set up.
Okay.
It was a pretty much kind of like a setup thing. Once they got your name for those, see, I'd been on Carney Wilson. I'd been on Jerry Springer way before it was Jerry.
Okay.
Before it was the Jerry.
Before the fight.
It was more like this, and I was high school class reunions.
Like the reveal that
yeah,
she's okay.
They brought me out and dragged to meet my prom date.
Oh my God! Was it actually your prom date?
Yeah, it was my prom date. Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. What was their reaction?
Well, she knew.
She knew. Okay.
So it was, but most of those are kind of set up.
Yeah.
A little bit. This was kind of like, this was my roommate who brought me on there. And he had like called me and said, bitch, we're going to go be on Ricky. And I was like, I ain't going to be on no Ricky. Yeah, I called them. They said too fat to do drag.
But that's the part that like is shocking to me is like your friend says, girl, hold up, this is going to be a gag.
Yeah,
like,
why did he go do it? So I was like,
I wouldn't be friends with that person. That is so wrong.
He's like, bitch, we get to go to New York. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I went and did this, and then a year later, I was on Ricky another time.
What was that one?
It was Drag King competition, and she had me come back and MC. I was the backstage correspondent.
Oh, so she liked you a lot.
And then a year and a half later, she had me come back and be on it again.
That's fabulous. So Ricky likes a fan.
Yeah, she says in this episode, she says, you remind me of my friend.
Oh,
She says it in there. But she talked to me like afterwards. So yeah, she's really, really nice.
So speaking of like a divine, what is your relationship like with like that kind of drag, like that we were seeing in media at that time? Because I want to know what, like, she says you're like divine. That can to some girls that's the biggest compliment ever. To some girls, that is an insult.
Well, that was like RuPaul. She was like one of the only ones who had like done something other than
superstar.
Yeah. But yeah, so really, it was, I forget how many of those I did. I was supposed to be on one of the trans ones. The one that like Chelsea was on.
Oh, okay.
Maury,
yeah.
Maury, that's a man or whatever.
Yeah, that one.
I didn't want to do that one because I'm like, bitch, they know I'm a man. I'm 9'5". I ain't gonna go be on there. So I didn't do that one, but I did Carney Wilson. That was really nice. Jenny Jones.
Oh, do you ever do Sally Jesse Raphael?
I never did Sally.
Did she go? Did she ask?
No. Because I think she kind of quit doing that about the time
that everything else was picking up.
Yeah.
So now my other question is, what kind? Did you consume this kind? They're talking about you, which is incredible. Did you consume this kind of television and media and stuff? What kind of stuff were you enjoying watching?
There really was no drag on TV. Like, this was the only drag that would have been on TV.
It's scandalous.
Like, stuff like this, yeah. And if you watch the whole show, I'll tell you about my little blooper. So I came out, and if you'll notice, I have on really high stilettos.
Okay.
I have on white stilettos.
Yes, you do.
Well, if you keep watching as the show goes, I have on different shoes because when I came down the stairs, I fell down the stairs and broke my heel.
No!
Broke a nail and broke a heel.
Oh no! But you look
so they had to like stop and like redo it all, but yeah. So that's my little thing.
I love that you're wearing something kind of like Bob Mackie-ish. You're very much so like
Coco Vega.
Coco Vega, Ohio's own.
Coco
Vega.
Yeah.
Now, did you just have that in the closet, or did you call Coco and say I need some stuff?
No, I had it in the closet.
That's a fierce one.
Yeah, I like free stuff, so I'm always
had Coco Vega
things. Yeah.
So you're doing things like this. You really become this like incredible drag icon. You take a break from pageantry. We were talking upstairs. I I met you when you were in the Dayton area, and they were trying to convince you to move to Dayton, and there was a pageant around that area, and you went and did All American Goddess. What about All American Goddess?
That's what made me start doing pageants again.
What about it made you say, I want to do that one?
I wanted to be every at-large title, and there's like a little story about Miss National at Large. I had won a prelim to go do it, and had all my dancers had spent thousands of dollars, and my dancers were at the airport, and they canceled the pageant.
Oh my God!
And I had bought a new gown. I had bought a big, huge costume. So I had spent thousands. So then I was kind of like, see, I should have never did a pageant, and they decided they weren't going to have it again. Then All American Goddess at Large started, and I was like, oh, it probably won't be anything. And then they had it again, and then they were all at Disney. All of the formers and all the ratings, they had a prelim. And when I saw it all on Facebook, I was like, shit, now I gotta go do that. It looked really fun. So then I started doing a ton of pageants, just any pageant there was. I did Miss MJ's, I did all kinds of stuff.
So I was gonna say, so in 2015, you win Miss MJ's. At that time, I was Miss Ohio America, and I had been the show director at MJ's back in the day, and I had just started working there again after having been at Mask and stuff. So I started working there, and one of the first things they asked me to do is they said, would you MC a benefit for Dena Cass on her way to All American Goddess? She's already Miss MJ's. And I said, yeah, I absolutely. And I think I maybe met you once or twice, and in that moment, it was just coming down and working with you and just getting to like be around you. I was like, oh, Dena is so the real deal. Like, it just, in that moment, it was like, oh, she's not just the lore, she is, backing that up. And I was fortunate because, like, some of the drag I'm familiar with is, like, the legendary Chelsea of Pearl and Misty Knight, and so to be like, oh, she is of that ilk, that is just her.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with the second half of the Dena Cass interview. Make some noise, Club 20! Okay, and we are back with more Club 20 Confidential. I am here with the legendary Dena Cass. So before we went to break, we were talking about your life coming back into pageantry, 2015 and stuff. We did a little break, so I was able to bring up this iconic moment from Continental Elite. You know what we're about to watch. Do you want to set up? I would like to know where this idea, where this concept, where all of this comes from.
This is my life with this painting. I did it for prelims because I thought, oh God, I gotta try to make, because I had a huge production with tons of dancers. My Christmas number that I did, the final night.
Yes.
So I didn't think it was gonna go over, but I say everyone has like that moment where the stars just all align, everything just happens, and the stars were in a line for me to do this number. And I actually got this Alicia Markstone, my drag mother. She actually did it before me.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I just made it famous. But she did it before. So I really learned it from her. And I was nervous. I didn't know if I'd be able to get done. I'd done it before. This was like the first time I really did it for a competition.
No, because there's a video of you doing it. This is what you did to win Miss MJ's, if I'm not mistaken. I can say this is your talent for that. Well, let's watch some of Dena Cass doing, this is like one of the most iconic videos of drag of all time, doing My Life. Now, what makeup do you have on at this point, just so we can tell?
I have just very light base.
Okay.
Hardly anything, just very light base.
Okay.
Nothing else.
And is that one of those makeup mirrors that has the battery packs? Or did you have no lighting?
There's no light.
There's no light. This is wild.
I couldn't really I can't read. I have my eyes, so I was just kind of like, let's go with this. I'm not real good with it. I need glasses. But
now, what are you drawing your eyebrows on with? It looks like a Sharpie.
No, it's a brush.
Just an angle brush?
Just an angle brush, yeah.
That is bold. To have no eyebrow up, to have no start, and just freehand it in 3 minutes?
Well, and you just have to go with it, even if they're like not.
Have you ever done it? Have you ever done it and looked at yourself and been like, oh no?
Oh no, when I go backstage, I'm like, oh my God, I look horrible. It looks horrible. See, a stage light, that's a bright light. When you're in a light, you can do a lot of different stuff. You get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of all blends together.
And okay, so also when you're, one of the things that I think is key to this is you have just the things you need right in front of you.
You have to have it set up just perfect.
Just perfect.
Yeah. You use this brush first, second, third, fourth. You have to have everything set up. All the brushes have to be set up.
Now, you've seen other girls do this after you, I'm sure, correct?
I have.
Have you ever seen someone do it as well as you?
Again, I've seen other people do it.
Other than Alicia, obviously, who I'm sure you have.
And a lot of people will message me and be like, I want to do that number, and you know, I never want to say, well, I tell them, try to do it in your house and
Practice.
but it doesn't work for everybody. And a lot of like new girls who have done drag for years, the whole thing is, this is my life. I've done this for 40 years.
Yeah.
I've thrown this face on and turned into this in 40. So that's what the music, I think if maybe they did it to a different song, it would be better for them,
Now, this is also set off the trend of girls doing that thing, in my opinion, where they take their makeup off for talent.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Because that was a whole thing. That was like I think a 3-year trend of girls doing that to that Lana Del Rey song, Young and Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, would you still love me? And the answer is no. The answer is no, I would not. I would absolutely not.
I say everyone has a talent that's perfect for them. You just kind of gotta to find it.
So, is this the first time you had done this? You had said you had done it at your prelim, right?
Yeah, I had done it,
But it didn't get this reaction until this night.
no. But it was literally like a lot of things happened that weren't supposed to. Like I got ready. I was really nervous that I wasn't going to get done, so I was doing it so fast, and I got done early. So the perfume, I had never.
Oh, that's the cuntiest part.
I had never used perfume and never put it on the thing. For some reason, Coco Van Cartier set the perfume on that tray. I don't know why.
Because she wanted you to know.
I never had used it before. I never even had thought about it. There was just enough time for me to lift it and spray it.
Okay, now these dinner plates you're putting on your ears.
Magnets.
That is a strong ass magnet.
Just a large magnet.
That is, you just really. Now I've also seen you do this, if I'm not mistaken, where you do hair. You blow hair on yourself, correct?
Yeah, you can. There's with those like palm tree kind
Yes.
of things.
Yeah, I've seen you do that before.
That's always what Alicia used was the palm tree. But I didn't really. I thought it was more costuming to use it.
To do the headpiece. Yeah. So how many times have you say you've done this as a talent for a pageant?
Like Miss Sawmill, not that many, really. This one, Miss Sawmill, and I think Miss MJ. And all the other ones I won, I didn't do it. Because it's really hard.
It's a tough one to pull off.
Well, you have to take their makeup, you have to be in drag, then you have to take their makeup on, then you have to put it on, then you have to take it off again, then you have to repaint. Because you can't go back out and do gown or anything.
And that. No.
It looks good there, but it don't look good.
No,
It really don't look good.
But you look, right now you are doing it, y'all.
The light makes it. And see, I got up just a little too early there.
Oh.
And when I took it off, I was like,
the stole. But then you're like, oh, I have time. Don't
and then I
forget.
saw the perfume.
The perfume sends me. That's where this started. Is the perfume? You stood up and that's where that started. I mean, gorgeous. Who made this gown?
Patrick.
It looks like a Patrick.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so good. So, when you're going to like a pageant or something, I know you have your Rolodex of like artists you like to work with. Who is your probably most consistent collaborator?
Well, the best fit, like the person that can do for my body and stuff is Patrick.
Yeah.
He can make a dress.
My name is Ashley Creole.
And it doesn't, he don't need me there, it just, when I get it, it's going to fit.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. I usually go with Christina for beading because I like the stretch, because
Yeah.
I gain and lose 20,
Christina
30
loves-
pounds in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, she
I
does.
go up and down, and I like stretch. Like I love Coco, but nothing of her stretches. So if it fits you
It's
today
good.
and you gain 10 pounds, it ain't gonna fit you tomorrow.
Now, I have to get her here to tell this story in person, but that does remind me of a drag story I think you'll appreciate, because we talked about, you know Maria Garrison,
Yeah.
and you also know, do you know Hope Sexton?
Yeah.
So they were doing, I want to say it was, Maria was doing a pageant and Hope was dressing her. And during lunch or something, Maria said something that pissed Hope off, and Hope's like, I'm gonna get this bitch. I'm gonna get this bitch. So when Maria wasn't looking, Hope started pouring salt into her Coke. So that way when Maria went into gown, she could not get into the gown because she was so bloated from all of the salt. And Hope was like, I got you, bitch. That's what you get for making. And it might have been reversed. Maria might have done that to Hope, actually. I'll have to get to the bottom of it when Maria comes into the pod sometime. But do you have any stories like that? Any like, girl, I got this bitch together?
No, I haven't got nobody together, but when I did Miss Continental Plus, I didn't have a dresser for prelims, so I just like had pork chop was there. I just set me up, girl. Made it through prelims. Didn't even know, and I was 10th going into prelims. And then Marcus was supposed to come and dress me final night, and he cut his hand and couldn't come, so I had nobody to help me.
Chelsea is Marcus?
Marcus, yeah. So I was in the back trying to do it all myself. My hair was blonde. I grabbed a can of what I thought was blonde. It was black. Hairspray. So sprayed my hair black, tried to get it out, and I had finger waves down. So it was how I won that. It was just everything.
You won that?
I won Miss Continental Plus.
That was the year you won. Girl! That is such a gag.
No dresser.
That is iconic. I one time was doing a bar title up in Toledo. It was Miss Blush. And there was this drag queen who used to work up at another bar in town called Brett's. Her name was Thunder Pussy. And I could not get a dresser for this pageant. And my drag mother was stepping down, so it was like, you're on your own, kid. So I convinced Thunder Pussy to dress me for this pageant. And she is there, so I'm just seeing Thunder Pussy all night long, blah, 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 blah. It gets to onstage question, and I literally, the name of the bar was Blush. And I said, I answered the question, I'm like, and like incredible entertainment like you would see at Brett's nightclub, the competitor bar. I said the wrong bar name, still won the pageant. I do not know how an onstage question, I said the wrong bar name and still won that pageant. I competed against Hershey Chocolate Latte and beat her in talent and somehow won the whole pageant. It was the wildest scoop ever.
Wow.
Sometimes you have those moments and you're like, oh, I have fucked this.
Well, I say everybody has like everybody has their night.
Yeah.
You know, some people get more than one, but everybody has at least one.
One good one in them.
Yeah, one.
What was of the titles you've held, what was that night where you were like, this is the best I've been, this is the
All
one.
American Goddess at Large.
At Mask?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that experience like? Because that is one of my favorite dressing rooms and favorite dressing spaces. Like, what was that
Oh, I was
experience like?
ready. I knew there was no way I couldn't win. So I was ready. I had 2 New Poco Vegas. I had 2 Fierce Talents.
What was your presentation that year?
Sarah Palin and Barack Obama.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
You're hysterical. So speaking of pageants, this is another thing I wanted to, because we talked about this a little bit. So in 2015, you're out there, you're doing the Miss MJs. I was Miss Ohio at the time. In 2016, my drag mother competed at Miss Gay America, and it was the last year that the America pageant did solo talent. And I was so heartbroken that I wasn't competing that year because I knew what I was going to do. This is the next part of your career that I really want to talk about. You had started doing these online videos on like Facebook and all that stuff, and you did this video where you talked for I think 6 or 7 minutes, because I had to cut it down, about Asia O'Hara, the reigning Miss Gay America at the time, and her scepter. Do you remember any of that?
I know. I remember the stick.
The stick, Asia O'Hara's with that stick.
Pretty stick.
Isn't that awful? I bet that stick gets you to the front of the line.
I just talk.
But there's like an affectation, there's like a little bit of a character. When did you decide that you were going to put yourself out there online and just be goofy? After doing all these national titles, you're like, you know what I need to do?
I think I am a character. I think I'm like a cartoon character kind of like.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really shy and so fucking boring. Girl, I am so boring. I could sit home in the house and watch it, never leave. Bitch, I hate leaving the house.
But there's this part of you that, like, when it comes out and it's put on.
Like, my family, some of my family was from Missouri, and that's where I get all my, like, all the people that I do like different people, they're all people I've met.
Okay.
You know, that yins and
Yins, yeah.
fuck yins.
Fuck
and-
yins.
Fuck all yins, that's how they talk down there. I heard all them talking like that. So that's all like from them. But like, I just talk about shit that happened during the, you know, I think if you like will sit back and look at folks, the world is funny.
Oh, it absolutely is.
You see some shit.
You just observing that Asia O'Hara has a photo with a scepter, and that just becoming your fixation for the day, and you decided to do a 7-minute rant. I mean, people like Delta Work who do podcasts where they do like rants about random things, they owe a little bit of that to you, and so like you were doing that online before anybody.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
I just like I think of,
I used to do them live videos. I'll tell you why I did the live videos. I did them a little bit, and I was like, this is so much fucking work, getting on here trying to be entertaining. And I got a message from somebody. I got it the next day. I was on late at night, and the next day I got up and I read this message. This guy had said, I got on Facebook and I was going to commit suicide. And I got on Facebook to send my mom a message. I waited till 11. I knew she'd be in bed. I was going to send her a message and I was going to commit suicide. And I started watching you and I laughed for over an hour, and I just realized there was more to life. And you saved me. I just wanted you to know that. So you never know who you're going to touch, or
yeah, the power of that. That's incredible.
You just never know.
Wow.
So then I try to go live and talk to people, and you know.
So you've done that whole thing. Not to get like political and stuff, but like you were one of the queens on TikTok back in the day, like doing the gigs, and then so what's that evolution been like? Being one of the first people to like really be on that trend and be up there doing that.
I didn't really understand TikTok, and kind of don't still today, but I've kind of figured it out.
Yeah, you're very popular on it.
And it was like when COVID came, it shut the world down.
Everything stopped.
And I had done drag every single weekend, my whole career. I had never had a New Year's off. I had worked every single weekend. And then I was like, well, we can't go anywhere. I lived in Texas, so they shut Texas down for a long time. So I was just sitting home, and I said, I got to do something. So I started to get on TikTok. Actually, Morgan McMichaels, she told me to get on. She said, you need to be on TikTok. That's where you need to be. Get on TikTok. So then I like started doing it, and just got more people, and people come in and watch and stuff. Now I haven't been doing it a lot because it's work.
It's a whole
lot of
thing.
work.
Maya Sexton and I are close, and she'll tell me, she'll be like, girl, I can't. I gotta
Drains
be up till,
you. Yeah.
You gotta be up till like 5 or 6 in the morning sometimes if
Yeah.
if that's your pattern, if that's your time.
Yeah,
Just
Jessica
like-
Diamond, she was on it like 10 hours a day.
It's insane.
I did it. I made good money when I wasn't working, but I literally was on it 10 hours a day.
You have to be just
It
nonstop.
takes everything out of you.
So, well, during COVID and stuff, we talked about this upstairs too. We did that online painting game with Dee.
Yeah.
And it was funny because you looked at me after I said that, and you said, and girl, it didn't record.
It didn't record. And it was funny.
It was so funny. It was. I think I had that as my Facebook banner for a very long time. That photo of just the three of us, just looking insane.
But it was funny. People like that though. People like to when you can make fun of yourself.
Well, you have to be fearless.
Yeah.
So speaking of being fearless, you're doing something really cool, and I want to talk about that for our next little subject here. You're moving to Columbus, Ohio.
I am.
So what was that like? What was the decision of coming up and saying, this is the next step for me?
Well, I worked at the Baton. I had moved there from Florida to work at the Baton. Long story short, it didn't work for me.
You passed the baton.
I did, yeah. I was there a year, and well, I was supposed to work 4 nights a week, and I get it. They were, they had to cut it to 3, and then they had to cut it to 2, and I'm like, bitch, I'm in Chicago, it's so expensive, and I can't make it, so I moved back to Florida.
Well, and it's hard for everybody, but specifically, like, if you go to Chicago, but the Baton is not what it was when I was 21. It's just, everything has changed. That area has changed.
Well, drag's not special. It's not special anymore. And one time the Baton was it.
It was
the only
experience.
place you could see transsexuals.
It was
the
the
only place
experience.
you could see, fierce entertainers. But now there's just so much drag. It's on TV.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. But so then I moved back to Florida, and I said, I won't be here. Well, long story short, tons of places closed in Florida that I worked at, which is fine. I said, I'll figure something out. Well, then we had all those hurricanes. And I feel like, I believe that everything happens for a reason. I've lived my life that way. Everywhere you're supposed to go, it just works out. If it doesn't work out, it just wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay.
So I've been a lot of places, lived a lot of places. And it just worked out for me to go. And there were some places that offered me gigs, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be. So I had came here in October, and I was all nervous. I was just a wreck from the hurricanes, because if you've never lived through one, they're not fun. And we had 2 huge ones. And I feel like the weather's going to keep getting worse, and hurricanes are going to. Yeah. So when I moved there, I bought a mobile home in a retirement community. Everyone's old.
Which is wild, because how old you have to be there?
55.
And they made an exception for you, which is
over that.
They said, we'll have one 20-year-old.
And I love it there. It's quiet, but when the hurricanes came through, they ruined many of the homes, and you can't get insurance on the mobile homes. So I couldn't have any insurance. So I was like, I spent every penny that I have on this house, and if it blows away, then I'm just going to be homeless with no money. So I came here. I did there was nowhere to work in Florida, so I said, I'll just set up a tour. So I set up 6 weeks. I was in Cincinnati. I was here. I was in North Carolina. I was in Indianapolis. I was in Terre Haute. I was in South Bend. I was all over. Then I went to Iowa. I was all over, and it was incredible. Then I went home. Well, when I was here in October, Virginia had said, you should just move here, girl. You should just move here. We love you. We love you. I said, I love you all too, and I'll come back anytime you want, but I ain't moving here. Do no drag. So I went home. Well, I got home, and I put my house up for sale. And I was like, if it's meant to be, it'll sell. So 2 days before I left to come here, because she had asked me to come back for the Christmas show, I said, no, I couldn't. So then she said, well, promise me you'll come. So I said, I'll come for the whole month. I'll do your show. So 2 days before I left, my house sold. So I said, okay, so I came up here. Now I didn't have anything planned. I was just like, I got here and she's like, oh, you gotta move here, you gotta move here. I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna move here, I'm not gonna move here. Yeah, you gotta move here. So I said, if it all works out, y'all can find me a place to live and it'll all work out, then I'll come. So that's where we sit today. So
that is where we sit today. Well, Dena, I've had so much fun chatting with you. I've got a final questionnaire I like to ask all of my guests. Is it okay if I pull that up?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. And audience, we're going to do a little break after that, and we will be taking a moment to change. I know Dena would like to change for a little number we'll do. Let me pull up the questions. So sorry. I should have them pre-written. Okay, here we go. The first question, this is the 10, so I asked every guest the same 10 questions. My first question, this is kind of a la like a James Lipton. What is your favorite word?
I don't know if I have a favorite word. Fuck, maybe.
Fuck is good.
Cunt.
Oh, that's a good one too. And fucking cunt as like a hyphenated?
Even better, yeah.
Very, very sad. Fucking cunt as a hyphenated, very
Yeah, I
satisfying.
like the dirty words, yeah.
What makes you laugh?
Other people. Our country.
Laughable.
Our country, just everything.
Laughable.
I just look at people. I can laugh. I can find something funny on. Fat people make me laugh. Because I'm fat, I think. Fat people always fall. And it's so funny when I don't want to fall, but it's so funny when fat people fall, I think. I will watch it. I'll get on and just watch it on YouTube or whatever. You pull it up. And old people are funny too.
There's something about like Peter Griffin falling down that they will put on a loop on YouTube, and it's just ridiculous because it's not real thing. But yeah, it's so funny. What makes you cry?
People that just thinking of all the people that I've known, and I think it's part of getting older. The older you get, the more people die, and then you're like, bitch, I know more people dead than I do alive, so just losing people that, you're close to.
What's your favorite place in Ohio? It could be past or present. It could be past or present.
I don't know the name of it, but it's a barbecue place in Dayton. I used to love going.
Ooh. I'll have to wait. The one on the corner, smoking?
No, it's a big. I think there's a couple of them. It's in Dayton. It's a barbecue place we used to always go to. I love it. What is it?
Brosa?
Right there on Main Street.
No, it's out. It's like it's out a ways. Like
Ooh.
the picnic basket or something.
Okay, we're gonna have to get you some of that. We're gonna have to get you that.
Yeah.
Did you ever do celebrities back in the day?
Yes.
What was that experience like for you?
It was a beautiful.
The hydraulic floor. Oh,
Yeah.
I just heard about that.
Uh-huh.
Who is your favorite? This question is who's your favorite local artist? But since you're such a who are some of your favorite drag artists? Like who do you really get excited about when you see they're on a lineup?
Nobody really. Like,
Oh my God!
I mean, there's a lot
Savage!
of them. There's a lot of them. Like to watch drag, I don't ever want to watch a drag number. Like it's like torture for me. I don't want to see it. Bitch, I've watched drag for 40 years. The last thing I want to do is watch drag.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if you were judging a pageant, who would you be excited about being like, oh, I'm happy that they're with me on the judges panel. They're a good time. I always like who's someone like that?
Oh, like, God, Kenya Black's fun.
I love Kenya. She's
Yeah,
great.
she's fun. Alyssa Edwards is fun. Yeah.
Now you've known her before all of that craziness,
way
correct?
before. Well, when she was a boy dancer. She didn't even do drag.
Now
She
that's
was a boy dancer.
now. You also been around. We were talking. I'll get back to this in a second. But we were talking about like so what was your relationship with that film Pageant when that came out?
I wasn't in that.
No, you weren't in that at all. But was that something where you were like, oh, they need to do this with other pageant things? Like, were you? Because I know there was talk when it first came out that they were trying to do that with other systems and other
Well, they
things.
did one for I think it's called the Queens. They did one for Continental. It's
Okay.
called like the Queens that they interviewed like over 5 years. They
Oh, wow.
did it, and then the pageant. It was cute. It was nice. For,
Yeah.
the pageants and stuff, especially for people who don't know.
Yeah.
That don't see it.
Its own thing. Okay, this is the question that I hope you have an answer for that is satisfying. What is the breakfast of champions? Meaning, what do you wake up and they're the first thing, like if I could have anything, that's what I want. That's what I'm gonna have for breakfast.
Oh, I drink a Diet Mountain Dew the second I wake up.
Fuck yes, that is
Literally
iconic
the
behavior.
second I wake up.
That is iconic behavior. A Mountain Dew at the
I
morning.
go brush my teeth and then I head to get my Diet Mountain Dew. And if I don't have one, like if I'm out, like I have one at the house I'm staying in, but if I didn't, I would have to stop and get one. Because I don't want to get up and then have to go fetch it.
Yeah,
I want
because it's like
there.
the first, that is, okay, breakfast of champions, Diet Mountain Dew.
I want it.
Even you could be successful. They should sponsor you. They should get on that. If you won a Lifetime Achievement Award, what would you like it to be in? It can be in anything, but if you're going to be recognized for this.
Well, just drag, I think. Just like pageants. I mean, because that's what I've done.
Forever, 40 years.
Yeah.
Can you give us your acceptance speech? Here, Dena Cass, this is the Lifetime Achievement Award for drag.
Bitch, it's been rough. Y'all put me through it. True tale.
Can you describe, and I'll hold up my fingers, can you describe the rest of your life in 9 words?
This bitch is tired. Can we get a Mountain Dew?
Yeah, that works. Can we get a Mountain Dew? That works. Hey.
That's a go-go juice.
If an afterlife exists, what words would you like to hear upon entering that realm?
I don't know.
Who would you like to see? Is there anyone? Because you talked about losing. Is there someone?
Oh, like all my friends, like Chelsea and everybody that's like passed away. Yeah.
Yeah.
If there is.
Yeah.
I'm dead, so once you're dead, you don't give a shit.
It's like Chelsea is saying, "Welcome home, sis." It's like
Yeah.
that's what you want. Chelsea was the best. She was the Miss Large and Lovely, which is another title you held.
Yeah.
She was Miss Large and Lovely of the year. I was Miss Comedy Queen, so we got to reign together for a while. She's just the best.
Yeah, sure.
So Dena Cass, you're here in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you. I had a good time.
Is there anything you want to leave us with? Tell us about where we can follow you and find you on social medias.
Everything is Dena Cass, Denacass. Instagram, TikTok.
And you said you're doing one gig finally in Florida, for those of you who are watching from down south. You're doing bowling?
My bowling alley, yep.
The bowling alley league?
And I'm judging a pageant.
Okay.
And that's it.
Maybe they'll get you down at Secrets before.
She has me on the book, but it's like April, so I don't know. I'll probably have to end up canceling because I'll be here.
Wow. Y'all, Club 20 Confidential, thank you all so much for tuning in. One more time, make some noise for Dena Cass! We will be back next month with more, and we will be back with a little bit of show in just a minute.